Going to the washroom is as easy as number 1 and 2, but how easy is it when you can't identify with either of the gender symbols on the washroom door? With the influx of gay-straight alliances on school campuses, gender-neutral spaces are becoming a priority for many equity groups. Rodney Diverlis is the president of Equity at Ryerson University and has become a strong advocate to gender-neutral spaces to ensure the well-being of LGBTQ staff and students, with gender-neutral washrooms pushed to the forefront of LGBT issues.
Not every student identifies with the strict gender binaries of man and woman, right? And in society, we know that that's true. And as we move towards building more inclusive spaces for students, for staff and faculty, we have to acknowledge that essentially students who are gender variant, who are trans, who identify with different pronouns and different identifications, safety is a big concern, and also being included is a big concern. And having very strict gender variant spaces like washrooms force students to essentially force students to out themselves as being trans, and sometimes even exposes students to some risk.
Even close to home at Humber College, the push for gender-neutral washrooms has become a prevalent issue. Jody Glean, Humber's Human Rights, Equity, and Diversity Coordinator, says this is a priority at Humber.
Humber is committed to providing an inclusive living, learning, and working environment for all of its constituents. And so we want to ensure that we are able to accommodate all groups, all populations that do attend Humber. And if certain groups if certain groups require a gender-neutral washroom, then I believe that this is an accommodation that at some point should be fulfilled.
Jody is doing everything she can to ensure the campaign moves forward despite all the administrative obstacles.
It's just a matter of understanding that everyone has the right to be comfortable, everyone has the right to self-respect, everyone has the right to dignity, and we move forward with these initiatives.
Bryn Robertson, president of BOLD, Humber's Gay-Straight Alliance, told a story about a friend who faced harassment directly related to this issue.
I'll go into a washroom and be forced out by a group of girls, and because they don't identify them as their gender, because they have a different gender marker or whatever term you want to use. So that's uncomfortable, and I know it's not meant to be hurtful, but it really is. And I know that the girls who pushed this person out did it out of personal safety, but how does that make it safe for the trans person?
To understand the need for gender-neutral washrooms, first we must understand what it means to be trans. Liam Skinner, the transgender DJ of the monthly queer bash Yes Yes Y'all at the Annex Rec Room, knows all too well what it's like to feel like an outsider in both male and female washrooms.
There was times where I would try and use the women's washroom because I wasn't comfortable going into a man's washroom. Maybe they didn't have enough stalls or something, because they can't necessarily use the urinals. And it's always kind of awkward if there's like a lineup or something, And walking into the women's washroom was really always a very difficult thing. People would turn around and just constantly tell me that I was in the wrong washroom, or I've had security called on me numerous times, and it just gets really awkward, and it's just really unnecessary, People just need to pee, and it should be safe for people to pee,
Yeah.
While Rodney and Jody advocate for gender-neutral washrooms in schools, Skinner has created a safe space for transgendered people at his event, turning the usual gendered washrooms into gender-free spaces. With the latest Yes Yes Y'all bash, the party marked its 3rd year of giving the trans community a crazy and sweaty place to let loose away from the discomfort of gendered spaces. Partygoers couldn't get enough. With all these great voices speaking up for the rights of transgendered people, it's safe to say that things are looking up.